This morning, I watched the moon rise. The man looked through me and tasted the fear in the feathers of my pillowcase. I walked 3 steps to my window where I shut it and fell through the pane. Shattered glass pierced my flesh and punctured my balloon ribs while my stitching slowly untangled, leaving me a cut of fabric tied to pieces. The teeth fell from my mouth as my jaw walked into my memory, jogging slowly through the neurodental work, flossing my brain follicles. The tar builds up like cigarette butts on hot pavement. My eyeballs rolled around to look beside me, and under my feet I saw a small worm inching along. He grabbed my shoelace and hung himself before I could ask him how the dirt felt. Every moment that ever happened is just piling up. My pocket watch poked me and said, "Well, where else could time go?" I climbed the fence and found a landfill. Instead of plastic and paper plates, it was full of moments and decisions, results and consequences of every second in the world. The dangling worm rolled about and looked up at me. "The dirt is cold," it said. I sunk my toes in to see if he was right. As I reached down for a fistful of the dark soil, a flower sprouted around my wrists and tied me together. All I could have asked for was to be put together, and the petals softly embraced my fissures like earthquake glue. I crushed my sleeping medication and sprinkled it in my tonic water, rinsed my hands with it, and patted my face to absorb the carbonation. The regurgitation of that night tasted sour in my nostrils. Its acidity dropped beneath my tongue like a breath mint. I felt refreshed when I hit the ground. It was nice to feel alive. The glass shards cut me deep like jugular separation, pumping resuscitation like CPR into my oxygen receptors, but the cut was final, a slice from the overall mass. The wind seeped through and I lost all momentum. Turbines slowing to a stop and the rust setting in, my copper-tone ore melded into the metal of my bones as my anvil heart was bent into the shape of a horseshoe, so I could fasten my brain to my spine, like an anchor at the bottom of my petroleum ocean. I raked the sand to find my seashells, but realized I have none left. There are only splintered caskets, clammy crabs hiding away in their ocean stow. The fishermen caught me in their net and dragged me to shore, skinning me alive and pushing me down the production line. A serial code was stamped on the palm of my foot. The numbers sparked my memory, and I returned to the worm. It was curled beneath my toe, hiding from the memories. "My ability to digest is slowly coming to an end, and I will soon die," it said. I picked it up around my fingers and lifted it into the skies, where it grew wings and left me for the gods. Beyond the clouds, a crack of lightning split my body in two, and I peeled away from myself, leaving my own entity there in the dirt. I watched myself decompose and return to the soil, an inevitable fate. The earthworms fed upon my nutrients and left the soil trail in the shape of my ambition, surrounded by rocks and small pebbles from the riverbed. I was cleansed of all sin and returned to purity. I rolled over to find myself upon the floor, the man still looking at me.